Hi and welcome to lesson 2 on how to produce an electro-funk record. In the previous lesson what we did was we got all the synths in place. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put in some audio and also we're going to add in the effects racks in the bus send channels. So what we're going to do is we're going to set our tempo to 120, which is the generic setting anyway, the default setting. And we're going to go into our samples pack that you've got in your electro-funk resources file, which is it has the clap, a kick, perk, tom, and that loop, and a hi-hat, close hat, open hat, and a crash. But we've got this loop in here, which is this. Where's it gone? There. And it's really fast, but what we're going to do is we're going to drag it in, and it should automatically set to 120. So if you play it now. And there you go. And it's got like a flange on it, so it's basically a little loop that I found. It's got this flange built in, which I think just fits really well on the track. We're going to program all the rest of the beats, but with this, I'm just going to have this little loop in the background just to give it some sort of swing and just give it that genuine 80s effect feel. So drag that in and set a little track on this side here. So obviously I've got my demo version here, and I'm going to arrange all of that out into a fully laid out track. But what we're going to do is we're going to start a fresh sheet. So we're going to drag this and make sure that we've got a loop there and time that up so it just plays perfectly well like that. So that's that done. Okay, so we've got that in place, and I'm just going to rename that flange loop like so. Okay, now then head over back to session view, and onto the right hand side here you're going to see two default settings of reverb and delay. What we want to do is we want to change the one that is already in. So you'll get one down here that just says reverb. Now what you need to do is go to your audio effects, go down to reverb, open up hall, and drag in the concert hall, and just put that in place there like so to replace the one that is already there. I've already done this, but you can do it on yours. So once you've done that, then you need to leave the delay as it is. We're not going to bother with that at the moment. Go back to arrangement view, and now what we're going to do is we're going to start putting things into order. So I'm going to have my brass riffs, and I want my lead line, so I'm going to put that there into place number 2. I want my bass to come in number 3 just for now, and I want my pads to come in on number 4, and the sitar to number 5. And then what I'm going to do, so I've got all my synths together, my MIDI synths together that is. And then what we're going to do is we're going to create the kick. So we need to get a drum rack. So go to instruments and drum rack and chuck a drum sample down here. In your banks down here, your key banks, C1, C2, etc. You're going to go to your samples pack again, and you're going to find the kick, which is there. And we're going to put that in on a MIDI. The reason why I do this on MIDI as opposed to putting in waves is that for some reason I tend to get more of a punch out of the kick when it's done in MIDI. And I'm going to change the velocity. I'm going to turn it up slightly to 16. So change the volume to 16. So we're going to turn it down a bit like so. And then what we're going to do is we're going to record in a 4 to the floor kick drum. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, so we're going to start off back here. Put the metronome on if you need it on, and just hit record. There you go. So just click recorded in 8 beats. So double click on that, open it up. If you've got the fold on, just turn that off, and then highlight them all and go to edit quantize, and make sure that your quantize settings, if they're not already, are on 116. Okay, sorted. So, and then once you've highlighted them all, make sure that your velocity levels are fully up, like so, like that. Okay, then what we're going to do is we're going to add an EQ to the kick. So we're just going to bring it out slightly. So go to audio effects, EQ8, and drag that down here like so. And I've already pre-done mine, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that down on there like that. And all we're going to do is we're going to bring out the bottom end as much as we can without losing, without creating too much distortion. So let's just loop that and solo it. And I'm going to take the first one and put it to about 48, like so. You can hear the poppiness there when you lift that up. And what we kind of want to do is kind of mold it around the wave. So we've got like take the top end off. So if you have the top end on, look, it gets snappy. What we want to do is just curve it round like that on number 4. And number 1, keep it at about between 46, 47 to around 50. Whatever sounds good to you. Like so. And then put on your loop. And then what we want to do is we want to copy that over 1, 2, 3 times and then loop that like so. So you should have now that and that like so. So what we need to do with the flange loop that we put in was we need to put in another audio effect from the EQ8. So put in an EQ8 like so, and you can see what I've done already with mine. So all I've done is I've taken the bottom end out. So if I unmute that like so and listen to this now. And then put on the EQ again. I've taken the bottom end out here, so we're cutting out those lower frequencies so that it gives a chance for this kick drum to pass through in the mix. So take your number 1 and pull it down to about 95 to 100 hertz. Sometimes you can get to about 110. And raise the top one, leave the middle 2. Raise the top one to about 5 hertz, so that it brings out a little bit more of the treble end of it. And then that way you'll have the bottom end removed so that the kick breathes. And then take your level down slightly on here, look, so that it's not clipping. There you go. You could actually put the kick up a little bit more on the volume, so go to about 14. That's better. I mean, it's always a case of self preference anyway when it comes to things. It also depends on what kind of speakers you're using. Everyone has different takes on that. But what we need to do is just to make sure that in the first start of this lesson is to not make sure that everything is clipping and everything is sitting nicely in the mix before we start to arrange the track and record the MIDI in. So we've got the electro beat, which is the flange loop, and the kick drum in place, and it's set at 120. And we've added the EQ8 to taking out the bottom end, and we've added some bottom end on this one and taken out some top end on the kick drum. There we go. So rename that kick. Okay, so that's the end of this lesson. Head over to the next lesson where we start putting in the hi-hats and the claps and the crash and the toms and the bells. Thank you for watching. Any questions, just email me and I'll get back to you. Take care. Bye.